What's going on, guys? I got a question for you today. Have you ever heard somebody say that they were going to move out of a certain state because they disagreed with the politics? And it might be someone that you know, someone in your family, a friend. It might even be you watching this video. Maybe you have actually considered leaving the state that you currently reside in because you disagree with the politics so much. And that's what I want to kind of have an open conversation about, because while I really got into politics right after the 2016 election, like a little bit before, I saw how insane people went over Donald Trump winning the presidency. So obviously the big talking point right after he won was, oh, so-and-so is going to leave the country, right? You had all these celebrities, and then obviously you had people kind of following the celebrities' lead saying, oh, I'm going to leave too, I'm going to flee to Canada, this and that. And obviously nobody ever really does, but that's not the point of this video. My question is, even if you have the funds to do so, should you actually consider leaving the state that you currently reside in because you disagree with the politics? And you can get into the financials of it. You can ask yourself, hey, can I actually support myself if I move to another state? Can I get a new job in said state? Am I able to kind of start over in a sense? Well, that's something that you can obviously talk about with yourself, with your loved ones. Another thing I would argue that might hold people back from doing that, from leaving the state you currently reside in, is you might have family there, right? Maybe your mom, your dad, siblings, cousins, the list can kind of go on, especially if you got a big old family like myself. So that's something that you would obviously have to consider. But I'm kind of diving into a deeper thought regarding this particular topic, because I think far too many people, they kind of make themselves feel a little bit better about themselves and their viewpoint, because it's the easy thing just to say, oh, well, you know, if things get too crazy in my state, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. Hang on, we're at an intersection here and everybody's an absolute idiot. Ay, Jersey. So anyway, like I was kind of getting into, lost my train of thought, but it's very easy for people to say that they're going to flee their particular state because they disagree with the politics of it. Because, well, if you're talking with someone and you say, hey, I feel this way on a certain topic, or, you know, on a certain particular stance, and more people in a certain state are going to tend to agree with you there, it's very easy to just say, well, I'll just move there, I'll drop everything that I'm doing. What I'm kind of getting at is, it's very easy for people to say they're going to leave a state because they feel a little better about the politics in another state versus the state that they currently live in. And to me, that's honestly just an easy way out, because, for example, you have to look at other things. If more people move out of certain states because they disagree with the politics, well, what you're going to do is you're going to basically allow the other team to run up the score in the state that you might be fleeing. So, for example, I live in Jersey. Jersey is a very liberal state. I'm not saying anything shocking. If you're someone watching this, you probably already know that. But with Jersey, I disagree with a lot of things that exist in this state. For example, I'm definitely not for the excessive taxation that we have in our state. And I know somebody will chime in and say, oh, you don't want roads to be, you know, paved and this and that. It's not what I'm talking about. Because when you actually look into how we are taxed as a society, not only at the federal level, but specifically the state level, there's so many other taxes that just eat away at your annual income. But apparently people don't want to talk about that. They think if you're talking, you know, bad about taxes one bit, that suddenly means, you know, you don't want to have any sort of public roadways or public systems. So you got to make sure you're talking with adults here, because I'm not interested in talking to screaming children. But obviously other things would be New Jersey's stance on the Second Amendment. They restrict our Second Amendment every chance they get the opportunity to do so. We can only have certain magazine capacities. We can't have certain features on our firearms, because apparently if we do, that means we would suddenly become a mass shooter and we would commit a horrific tragedy, right? Because it's the gun, not the shooter itself. So I can go down. There's plenty of other things that I disagree with. And myself, for people that know me, I have a couple good things going on in my my particular life. And I'm hopeful that I can eventually, if I ever wanted to, I could leave this state. But I was kind of thinking the other day that even if I will have the financials to do so, there's going to be a couple things holding me back. So one of the first things is going to obviously be family. For me, I'm pretty tight with my family. I'm pretty close with my friends. No one's really ventured out that far. We all kind of live in the northern part of the state in New Jersey. So that's going to obviously be something holding me me back, you know, a good amount. Then the second would be my job, right? I'm currently a teacher, but as I said before, I don't know if it's going to get cut out because I had to stop the video and redo it. But with my teaching job, yeah, sure, it's going to pay the bills now, but it's not going to be my above all end all. There's many other things that I'm into, and I'm going to be looking forward to branching out and saying when the day comes, hey, I don't have to teach anymore. I can pursue things that I want to. I'm a big financial freedom kind of guy, so that's kind of on my radar as well. But the big thing that I was really kind of thinking about was, let's say someone like myself leaves the state of New Jersey, and just apply this to yourself. I understand I'm speaking, but allow me to kind of speak for you. If we were to leave the state of our choosing because we disagree with the politics of it, there's going to be some repercussions to that, because if other people follow our lead, and let's just say, for example, that all pro 2A people start to compile in certain states, and then you might have some overlaps where some people might not be big on the 2A, the Second Amendment, but they might not be in favor of the excessive taxation. So you're going to get all these individual states kind of just getting these swaths of people that all kind of fall victim to the same echo chamber, the same type of think tank. But the bigger question, or the bigger concern that I'm having, is the more people that just flee to the free states, I guess we'll just call it that, the easier it's going to be for the other team to run up the score in the states that we're fleeing. And when it comes to elections, yeah, okay, you absolutely, I understand the argument when it comes to states really being able to get in the way of your life or not, right? Allowing you to live in a way that you see fit. But if people were to start fleeing certain states and allow the other team to run up the score, when it comes to big presidential elections, and we're talking midterm elections, I just had a video on that the other day as well. Well, if the other team starts to have control of more states, and now they're going to have more senators, they're going to have more members in the House of Representatives, because everybody left the states that they deem to be communist states, or, you know, people on the other side, they might say, oh, these states are too free, I want more government control, right? So flip-flop it, right? Whatever, make it fit to whoever you are and whatever your ideas might be. But again, if that team is going to just run up the score, well, they're going to dominate the political landscape. And federally, that's what's really going to have the biggest impact on your life. Totally understand with states. I'm with you. Every now and then, I kind of sit there and I'm looking at property in other states, and I'm like, oh man, the property taxes are that low? Like, I could just live off the land, do my thing, everybody leaves me alone. Oh my God, that would put a smile on my face. But again, then I kind of think about what it was I just laid out, that if more people begin to leave their home state, or just the state that they reside in, all it does is it just makes it easier for the team that's going to remain there. They're going to run up the score, and they're basically going to run unopposed. And future, again, you got to think about what impact that'll have on the nation, what impact that will have on your life. Even if you're living in the middle of the woods, if you're going to allow the federal government to just get bigger and bigger, eventually they're going to be able to have the power to come and get you in whatever way. It could be in a way of taxes, and obviously we always talk about how how larger governments tend to be the oppressive ones. So that's something that I think I wanted to do a video on, kind of get the word out there, start some conversations about it, because I've definitely heard a lot of people say that they're interested in leaving states because they disagree with the politics of it. But I think what would be better suited would be if the people who have genuine concerns about the state that they live in, they start getting into politics in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying you got to have a camera pointed at yourself and you're discussing political ideologies, but it could be maybe you find someone that's running local that agrees, you agree with them a lot. Okay, start supporting them, start sharing the links to their pages, maybe you follow them on social media, you start pointing your friends in their direction. Start changing people's minds slowly and surely. Instead of trying to flee the state, do your best to try and stand your ground, and if your state is in the complete opposite direction, well, try and fight back a little bit in the sense of, change people's minds, sway their opinions, and that way, slowly and surely, you start getting away from, you know, maybe your state is far left. Okay, you start getting away from, you know, the far left that exists because you were able to convince people to change the way they vote, or vice versa. I don't know who's going to be watching this video, but listen, I appreciate you checking out the video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about what as I just said. Have you ever thought about leaving your state? Do you agree that it's better to stay in that state, try and change people's minds, or just altogether are you just kind of like, hey, you know what? Whatever state is going to leave me alone, I'm just going to move there because I have the financials to do so. I could care less about my family. Or maybe you have the funds to where you could just fly out and see them whenever it's holidays. I don't know. Don't know who's watching this video, but listen, I appreciate you checking it out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Well, you're going to be seeing this on Monday, so enjoy the rest of your week.